And then there's the walk of shame when you get off the stage and you just feel like completely, and you go to the bar and no one says anything to you and you're just like, oh my God, that was awful.
And you have one voice going, get off the stage. And the other voice
and that
going,
voice is Dave Olaf, I believe.
And then the other voice going, keep talking until you get a laugh. Meanwhile, you've got one of us comics going, it's been 7 minutes, get off the stage.
Mark is giving his trademarked throat cut move.
Wrap it up. So, yeah, a lot of guys, they watch YouTube, they watch a Netflix special, and they get up on stage to get a microphone, and the only thing they didn't do was plan a set.
Right.
It looks like we're just talking out of our head, but we've actually memorized a lot of this stuff. We try to memorize it. Sometimes I have to use notes. We're trying to do a new set every month, so it's hard to memorize those.
Yeah, we're not like Jay Leno, who's been doing the same material for like 40 years. Yeah. So, because if we did that, we maybe have one show a year, people would come. So we have to always change our material. And but yeah, you're just working it out. I mean, what I do is I sit down. The first thing about being a creative at anything, whether it's photography or comedy, is that you will probably generally procrastinate as much as possible. At least for me, I find that. So I procrastinate, but then when I actually do sit down, I write everything out.
We could talk about procrastination later. Actually,
I'm very good at procrastinating.
We could talk about that later.
We could talk about that a little bit later.
Why do it now?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. See what I did there? Yeah.
I'm a bit hungover. I didn't get the reference.
Did you ever see? This is one I recommend for comics. Mr. Saturday Night with Billy Crystal.
I think I saw that one. Yeah, where the two guys start off in vaudeville or the Borscht Belt kind of, and then
they're brothers. Billy Crystal. I can't remember the other actor's name. Very famous actor as well. Billy Crystal. He's running out of material, so he'll do something and he'll say like, "See what I did there?" And he used something which is called the flim flam, which is Yiddish for kind of like a distraction, flim flam. Mm-hmm. So you think I'm going there, and then at the end you change the part of the joke, and that surprise causes laughter. And so Billy Crystal will tell his old vaudeville kind of jokes, and he'll say, "See what I did there? See what I did there?" And then he's running out of material, so he starts. This is really funny because this is pre-Louis C.K., but he's the first in this movie. Billy Crystal starts making fun of his stupid daughter, and that's what Louis C.K. does, right?
Right.
And then his daughter sees him on TV, and he was her idol,
and she's
disillusioned. Yeah, and then he starts making fun of his family, and he turns really bitter, and then I used to use his clips for radio because it'd be like he's walking around going, those last jokes, they were horrible. You're fired. He's walking through the writer's room, through the hall, pointing at everybody, you're fired. And then one guy goes, I don't even work here. He goes, you're hired. Now you're fired.
I like it.
And then he's retired, and then he's watching, this is probably the 80s, late 80s, the new comics. Mm-hmm. This is Billy Crystal as a washed-up comic, vaudeville comic, sitting at home, retired, and he turns on the TV and he watches something like at Improv, and some guy going, I like drugs. You guys like drugs, man? You like drugs? He's like, what happened to comedy? This is horrible. It's like, these people, our comic heroes are turning in our grave,
Great if you want to listen to a podcast about great the old-timey comedians. There's a great one with the WTF podcast with Mark Maron. Did an interview with this guy. I forget the guy's name, but a couple little ways back. You can find it on YouTube, and it's about the old-time comedians. This guy wrote a book about the old-time. It's very interesting. Some of these guys. Some of them are still touring. Like Shelley Berman, I think, is still performing. Some of these guys are like before television.
Well, it's like people. Yeah, but we should talk about comics, old comics sometime. It's about time to wrap it up, but in the next podcast, we're gonna talk a bit more about podcasts, comedy podcasts, and the ones we listen to, and what we think about them. We're going to say goodbye for now, and this is Talk Funny. I've been Mark Bailey. He's been Mike Miller, and we'll talk to you soon.